Hi, everyone. I'm eating the ear of a chocolate bunny that my mother-in-law gave us when she like brought stuff for Easter for the boys, but then also brought an adult um Easter basket. So, how is everyone doing? I can't believe I'm here on time and just in the nick of time because Nick did it. Um He was he was a tough one to put to sleep. Like, my hair looks crazy because he, like, just, like, puts his hands all in my hair. Um, but hi, Renee. Hi, Alicia. Thank you so much. Yeah, I have never been red before, ever. Like, I have had rainbow hair, I have had dark brown hair, I have had blonde hair, but I've never been red. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know my journey with my hair. So I actually hadn't colored my hair in like 3 years. Um, since I was pregnant with Nick because I was bound and determined to go like silver or gray. My sister who's 3 years younger than me has like these beautiful like silver streaks in her hair and it's just stunning and I wanted it so bad. Um, so I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna stop dyeing my hair." And guys, I for 3 years, every time I got my hair cut, I was asking my hairstylist, I'm like, "Do you see any hairs? Do you see any, like, silver or do you see any white?" And nothing. Nothing. Um, Also, Car Courtney reminds me of the best ramblings with the BFF. Never worry about anything of the sort. Thank you. I was so nervous to be like, "You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna record when my makeup for the day has, like, basically come off. I've been talking to people for the whole entire day. I'm like, sometimes I just wanna talk to my best friends, like, which is you guys. I'm like, I miss you guys so much." So I was like, "Screw it. I'm gonna record in the car." You know what I mean? Yeah. I love the new color, it looks great. It's actually my bedtime now that I'm on the East Coast, but wanted to say hi before I put myself to bed like Nick. Haha. Yeah. Uh I'm not gonna lie, on book club nights, my butt is right there with you, even though I am on Central Standard Time. And yes, chocolate is amazing. I didn't even realize I like walked in to my bedroom to grab my computer and I looked and I saw this bag on my nightstand. My husband broke off the head of the bunny for me and left it for me. Hi, Gary. How are you? I'm so excited to see you all here. I have my water as well as some wine. And it says, "What happens at book club stays at book club." So I'm super excited to have some wine, relax with you all, and chat about Bored to Death by CJ Connor. And Um, I'm really excited to read this for like multiple reasons, but one of the reasons is I think it was my first year going to the Ashland Mystery Festival. I actually got to meet CJ Connor. And so it was really cool meeting them and just, I love being able to meet the authors and the people that are a part of the community. And so for those that don't know, I'm going to read the setup like I always do, but this is a board game shop mystery series by CJ Connor. And while I am reading the synopsis, let me know your Clio ratings, which anybody that's new, it's black cat emoji for dear Cleo. I miss her so much. Side note, there was a animal shelter that posted on Facebook about like a set of 12 kittens that were dropped off at their place, and one of them is a little black kitten. But okay, I digress. Let me know your Clio ratings, and I also want to know what format you read the book in as well. So, let me start. In a trendy Salt Lake City, Utah neighborhood, Ben Rosencrantz's board game shop has become a community hotspot for all ages and for killer collectors. Back in his hometown of Sugar House, running his family's board game shop and cafe, Ben Rosencrantz just can't seem to get his life to pass go, much less collect $200. Once he was a happily married English professor in Seattle. Now he's a divorced caregiver looking after his ill father and a chihuahua named Beans while still figuring out the rules of retail management. At least the town has become more LGBTQ plus friendly when Ben was a teenager. And that flower shop owner, Ezra McCaslin, enjoys flirting with him. But despite his usual clientele of gamers, Ben is barely earning enough to keep the store running and stay on top of his father's medical bills. Then a local toy and game collector named Clive offers him a winning strategy to purchase a turn of the 20th century edition of the Landlord's game, the realty and taxation game that inspired Monopoly, at a tenth of the rare edition's true value. Suspicious of Clive's shady, low priced deal, Ben turns the offer down. Then Clive turns up dead at the front door of Ben's shop, and a backpack full of $100 bills appears on his doorstep. Now, Ben is the number one suspect in Clive's death, and unless he and Ezra can prove his innocence and find the real killer, he'll go to jail for murder, and no amount of double dice rolls will set him free. Bum, bum, bum. So, let me know. We've got Alicia, Two Cleos, not the book for me, although I loved the concept and board games. Read, audio, and physical. So you did like a tandem. 3, but I'm giving it a bonus cat because of all of the Star Trek references. I was living for the Star Trek references. I am a huge, I am a Trekkie. My husband's Star Wars, but I'm Trekkie. I have seen every Next Gen episode multiple times. Voyager is my favorite. Worf is my, he's my everything. I love Worf. So yes, I would agree. Renee, 3 switched back and forth between audio and paperback. 3 paperback. I didn't read it, but I gave it 5 stars. I didn't reread it. Oh, but I gave it 5 stars when I read it digital and on paper. Flying Back from Ashland. Yes. Didn't get to finish the book. My uncle died unexpectedly, and I'm on a road trip to the funeral picking up other family. Ivy, I am so sorry. I am so sorry for your loss. I want to give you a hug so bad right now. I'm so sorry. Voyager is my favorite. Love Captain Janeway. I love that was it 5 seasons for Voyager? That her whole entire journey was to get that good cup of coffee, right? I mean, I know I'm diluting it a lot, but yeah. The start was a 3, not really that interested in board games. 2, a little on ebook and a little on audio. Didn't enjoy the audio as much. Diva, yes. 2 in the physical copy, definitely needed an editor. 1 Cleo was just for the potential. There's coffee in that nebula. Yes. Okay, so I ended up giving it 3 Cleos, and I listened to it on audio, and I think that 1, you can tell that I can tell. I don't know if anybody else can, but I can tell that this is a debut novel. Even rereading my debut novel, Death on Deck, compared to the one that's coming out later in May, my writing has, leaps and bounds, gotten so much better. So I will say that for a debut, it is a good start. Things that I did love about it. I loved that the main character was a male because a lot of times we do not read male protagonists in cozy mysteries. I love that the LGBTQ plus community was represented throughout this book, throughout all of it. I loved the romance, loved all of that. I have a lot of family members who are I mean, my sister, my godmother, my godfather, they're all part of that amazing community. And so I love being able to read more of it um in cozies. So I thought that was cool. I also liked the fact that it was board games because we are huge board game players here in my house. We have like Star Trek Catan, we've got regular Catan, we've got the Forbidden Island. I mean, tons of card games and dice games, and we play D&D. So like this was right up my alley when I saw the cover. Just seeing the cover, I was like, that's a cool concept. So those were the things that were like really, really going for me, like the things that I was very, very much like excited about. But I do agree that the audiobook, that was rough. I feel like the narrator just wasn't it wasn't s- fluently or uh very well just spoken. Like I know I just did not speak very, very well, but I feel like there wasn't enough emotion, there wasn't enough I don't know, I felt like a lot of times the way that he would end a sentence, like the inflection was a question mark when I know that it wasn't a question. For those that read audio, let me know um if you got the same kind of like vibe. But so that kind of like took me out of the story a lot. It got to the point where I think I was maybe like 70% into it, and finally I sped up my audiobook to 2.5 because I just I wanted to get it done, which is why I got a 3 stars for me, though it had so much potential. Um uh I loved playing Parcheesi in my youth, so the board game references brought back some memories. Yeah, and it made me want to go and find, like, an antiques, like, roadshow, episode of, like, board games or something just so I could, like, learn more. Yeah. Audio was very one note, not a lot of differences between voices. Yes, which I can tell me if you guys agree or not, but I can get over like if an audiobook is if the narrator gives me, I'm going to sit back a little, if the narrator gives me emotions and inflections and I can feel how the character is feeling, then I'm okay with not having a lot of like a lot of differences between the voices of the characters and things like that. But the way that the narrator was so one note, um, I got confused quite a few times on who was speaking. Um, and so I would have to like rewind and back up to really feel like to find my place again. Um, I definitely got that vibe. I think I chalked a bit of that to the socially awkward part of the character, but that was my projecting too. True. Uh Trying to finish the audiobook, the narration isn't good. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to be like, "Oh, buddy." I agree. Will Wheaton is one of my favorite, yes, narrators, and he very seldom changes voice as much. I agree, Kathy. So like so Will Wheaton did the Ready Player One, right? He also did oh, it was like the society, it was like sci-fi with big, huge, giant monsters. I've just read the book last year. I'm trying to remember the name. But that's one of the things that my husband and I have an argument about, right? I love Will Wheaton's voice and his narration. My husband can't stand it. Like he's just like he has no uh differences in voices. It's just Will Wheaton reading you a book. And I'm like, well, I had a crush on Will Wheaton since Next Gen. So I totally fine with that. Um yes, Ready Player One. Yes, the Kaiju Preservation Society. Yes. So I read that last year and I loved it. I thought it was freaking awesome. But uh yeah, I was very much into um like I don't mind if it's something like the way Will Wheaton reads. But yeah, the audiobook pulled me out of it. And if I contemplated picking up my physical book and just finishing the book myself. But with how busy life has been, I have not read a physical book. I think I only read one physical book this month and it was on Kindle. Um, so that was hard for me. But one thing that I do think is really cool, and I didn't know until Gary said something, was that the back of the book actually has discussion questions for book club. You guys would be probably very disappointed and shocked at how much time I take to when I was creating the discussion questions, how long it took me to do it, as well as like surfing the internet to try and find if anybody else had posted their discussion questions for book clubs, because I post like all of my discussion questions and everything for every book that we've ever had are free and available on Patreon. They can just click on it and then they have discussion questions. I wish that we could all get together as a book club society and just be like, here are the discussion questions. All of this reminds me, I got the DCC series because of Dungeon Crawler Carl, and have now pre-ordered the hardback for book 6. It is one of my favorite series of all time, of ever. They're all actually right above me right there. Yes. Love Dungeon Crawler Carl. Okay. So I did read through some of these discussion questions because I thought it would be fun to chat about them. So the first one is: Ben is concerned about returning to his hometown in Utah, partly because he is openly gay, though he notes that Salt Lake City has become more accepting than when he was younger. When you think of your hometown, what comes to mind? If you have since moved away, would you hesitate to move back? And if you still lived there, or if you still live there, what has changed and what has stayed the same over time? I like this question because um I one of the things that was new and different with this specific cozy mystery is the fact that it did so openly talk about um the LGBTQ plus society, like the community, as well as being in Mormon town and being in that kind of environment where you're not seen um as holy, or like that kind of pushed the boundaries a little bit when it comes to cozy mystery. So I can see why a lot of people might not have liked it. Maybe it made them uncomfortable, maybe it made them um see things in a different way, which is not something that normally um a cozy mystery does, right? Because we read them because they are cozy and they are comfortable and they are um a lot of times you know what to expect when it comes to a cozy mystery. And I feel like this book pushed that a little bit. Um it's no shock to anyone that I don't like Oklahoma. I was born and raised here in Tulsa, which is a blue dot in the sea of red here in Oklahoma. But it was not kind to my aunt and to my uncle growing up, and it wasn't kind. Like my sister was afraid to come out until gay marriage was approved, and I I hate that about being here because I am of the opinion that I love everybody and I respect everybody and I respect everybody's beliefs and I just don't understand why that's not something that is just reciprocal between human beings. That just doesn't make sense to me. So like I literally can't compute being unkind. I don't It takes nothing to be kind. And so um I thought that it was interesting that it was brought up quite a bit while reading the book. So I would like to know what your guys's like thought process was when it came to um this kind of topic, or like did it make you go like make you think in a different way? Did it I think that it's interesting what it sort of entailed in a cozy mystery. This is not great wine, guys. This has been in my fridge for like months. because a friend left it, and I don't normally drink like this, and I'm still gonna drink it though. I did appreciate that too. Being queer in Texas, I've experienced a lot of that, and I am so sorry, Kathy. They are not worth your time. They are a bunch of assholes. I'm sorry. Um, I digress. So a lot of these are uh CJ Connor was 25 when he wrote this book. It was a millennial vibe, big city, caregiving, aging, inclusion, scammers, religious exemption, and living at home, right? Like CJ really did sort of break the mold when it came to what is like taboo or not taboo in the cozy mystery, which I think is why I gave it a 3 stars is yes, there could have been editing. Yes, there were some times where the wording, like they said word multiple times in one sentence. Um, those kind of things, but I think what it represents is more and it's important and I'm happy to have read it. Um, so there's that. I'll be very, very excited to see um, when they publish book 2, I don't know if there is a planned book 2, but it is a series, and the way that it left off, I'm hoping that it still stays a series. Um, I'm excited to see the growth between book 1 and book 2. I think that it'll be really good. I like when cozies discuss issues. Yeah, MB, it's just I like it personally. So, let's see. One of Ben's favorite things about board games is that they bring people together. Why do you think that is? What memories and feelings do you associate with playing board games? Um, I was also surprised by the lack of editing. I'm pretty sure that it was traditionally published. Yeah, it was published by Kensington Cozies, like the highest of highs. Um, when it came like when it comes to the cozy mystery publishing house. So yeah, I agree. I don't know if that the editor slept through it or what. um I think book 2 was going to be D&D themed. Ugh, I have to read it. I have to read it. It is major. Like I just looked and it says, yeah, Kensington Cozies. um but it's such a cool concept that I think maybe they were like, we have to have it. We have to grab it. Um, but let's see. Now, there's not a lot of questions here about the actual like plot, um, which I think is kind of uh sad. I wish that there was more sort of like probing questions about the plot. But so what did you guys think about the mystery in general? Did you feel like you had enough clues to like figure out the whodunit? So as we're going through the book, right? Ben and Ezra, sweet Ezra, um were uh you know, actively sleuthing. Ben was sort of like not really wanting to sleuth, but then like Ezra's like, "Hey, we have to figure out what's going on. We need you to be relaxed." Like all of these things. Um, and at first I thought it started out really good. Like you're meeting the characters, you know, they have the weekly card game. They've got like all of this stuff. So I'm like, okay, we're setting the scene. We're getting this stuff. But just like Meg just said, most of the suspects were not introduced until after the murder, which broke a cozy convention I like. I didn't suspect any of them. And I also did not expect any of them. Just saw book 2 on Hudson's Booksellers called Killer Cube. Pre-order currently unavailable, but there is a picture of the cover. Ooh. Um, it has book 2 for December 30th. All right. Ben had lots of meetings, but no real clues coming out of it. Yeah, I felt like we were, for lack of a better description, sort of like chasing our tail when it came to finding clues and figuring out the whodunit. So we've got our characters that are his brother, the who got killed? Clive. Clive's brother, who was Staples. His last name or his first name was Staples. So we've got Staples, who has a pretty good motive for wanting Clive dead, just like a lot of sibling rivalry. We've got um his mother loved Clive more than he loved Staple or more than she loved Staples, and so there's all that going on there. So you can sort of see how he could be a person of interest. Then we have the guy that got scammed. There was multiple people that got scammed by Clive that they interviewed, but the main one was the big rich guy who uh got a lot of money. Like they had to meet him in the pool, and I thought that was a very interesting scene. Like them just getting in their bathing suits and then the guy's just sitting there dressed at the table like nothing's happening, like it's just a business meeting, and so he looks completely out of character at a pool facility. It was just that was very interesting. But so we've got them as suspects, right? And then I thought maybe there would be a suspect at the other board game shop, but then there wasn't. Um, it was really, really hard to keep track of for me. That was really weird about the suspects after the murder. Yeah, like I was just like, and then I never knew like whose vibe was just being awkward versus whose vibe was actually off because they could potentially be a suspect. You know what I mean? Um, I didn't find it super believable that Ben was so worried about being a suspect, and I thought the actual motive wasn't believable. Yeah, I agree, especially after um the detective, she was just like, "Yeah, you didn't even really know him and it just I didn't really think that you were a suspect kind of thing." Um, there were times I felt Ben was along for the ride for most of it, almost monkey in the middle vibes. Yes, yes. I feel while I loved the book for all of the different aspects that Gary mentioned earlier, um, shedding light on different things, I almost think that the mystery, the cozy, got lost in the middle of making sure that all of these things were also being touched upon. Does that make sense? Like, am I wording that correctly? It was almost as though the mystery was an afterthought. Um, like, I want to make sure I have, you know, all of these boxes ticked. Um, but then it was like, oh yeah, no, this is supposed to be a mystery. So I need to make sure to do all these mystery elements in it too. I felt like if there would have been a really good editor to go with this book, they would have been able to clean up some of those things. And I feel like a good editor would have been like, "Oh, hey, let's introduce this character before here. Like, let's do these kind of things." Because I think a developmental editor would have been really good for this, and I would have enjoyed it a lot more had it been um sort of, you know, you know what I mean? Okay. I didn't really have cozy vibes. I didn't find myself wanting to spend an afternoon there. Yes. Yes. I agree. Yes, the mystery was totally lost in the messaging. Thank you. You worded it perfectly for me, Alicia. I agree with it. Like one of the things that as I'm getting like real super into it. One of the things that I absolutely love about cozies, and I know a lot of you guys absolutely love about cozies, right? Is the fact that the town or the store or the shop or the house feels like a character in and of itself, right? And I felt like their shop really, really, really could have been that way. Like we have a shop in Tulsa called Wizards Asylum, and it is a huge nerd store. It's got comics, it's got board games, it's got Warhammer 40K, D&D books, Pokemon cards. They have, I mean, I was actually picturing uh the Wizards Asylum in my mind as I'm thinking about as I was reading this book. And I felt like I wanted more from the descriptions, or like I wanted, a cozier kind of feel. Like when I walk into Wizards Asylum, like I wanted that kind of feel. It's like when you get a new job, you have promise, but won't be good plus until you get experience. Exactly, which is why I really hope that CJ's book 2, it like knocks it out of the park. Also, I really loved Ezra, but Ben was such a downer and it was hard to root for him. I agree. But then it's also like that's realistic. He just got through a divorce. Like, and so I was constantly on like going back and forth between all of this, right? Because the empathetic part of me wants to be like, "Oh, Ben, I'm so sorry." But then the other part of me is like, "All right, Ben, I need you to be angry about it and use that anger to fuel you going forward in life." Like, I was just I kept wanting it to be more than what it was. I agree, Gary. I was hoping that the board shop was a community building place, but it was more of a revolving door. Yes, it was more of like a placeholder for, oh, Ben needs to meet this next person or this needs to be here. Um, I feel like there could have been more to it. Um, and so we find out towards the end of the book, this is the spoiler part for anybody watching later. Um, that Leon was the killer, which I did not expect Leon to be the killer. I think it was Leon. That was his name. Um, like he was a graphic designer who was down on his luck, and he really was working at the shop, and he killed Clive to get the board game and the money and all of those things. Um, and I was just kind of like when we got to that, right? Like it's supposed to be sort of like a very tense scene when Ezra and Ben walk into the shop and it's all dark and all of these things, and then I just sort of felt like, oh, well, I didn't see that coming, but it's not like a, "Oh, I didn't see that coming, that's awesome." You know what I mean? Um, there was maybe a bit too much harsh reality for a cozy. Homophobia, divorce, and his dad's illness. Yes, I feel like if we could only focus on, like, 2 of those things, or, like, it wasn't so, I don't know, in your face about it, I think that I would've it would've felt maybe a little bit more cozy. And the back office was terrifying with all those stacks and stacks of dusty books. Yes, 100% agree. I'd hate to call Ben a sad wet chihuahua, but if the shoe fits, hopefully he's more sunshine in book 2. I mean, he just got kissed by Ezra. Like, he better be happy. Yes, Meg. The whole place seemed dirty, not cozy. Yes, like everything needed a good dusting or something. I liked Leon, totally didn't get that, and what was with the superhero costume? Is he supposed to be mentally ill? That's a great question. Like, is it something that, like, maybe he had a psychotic break, or but then that's another societal issue that I'm like, you don't necessarily need to bring that up. So with all of the other things that you're bringing up. You know what I mean? Uh, Renee, hilarious. Yeah, I just I really, really felt like this book had so much potential, and I'm so just, like, torn on my feelers, about it. Um, I forgot about the superhero thing, never really explained, not at all, not even a little bit. I'd like to know how Ezra dialed 911 with the phone in his pocket. Gary, I didn't even catch that. I think that at that point, I was at 2.5 speed, and, like, I was just focusing on finishing the book. But that's a great question. A great question. Um, so, yeah, this was not necessarily, like, a hit um, for book club. Ah, hi, Spencer. Um I thought the superhero costume was for their job, like Ronald McDonald, but then, like, he was a graphic designer and he was only working at the shop as a side. Like, he said that he was using it as a disguise, from what I remember. And why did he lie to Ben about having his phone? Yeah. So, because didn't they both say that they left them in the car? Like, was that supposed to be a tricksy thing the for, like, them to, like him to, like, kinda, like, trick Leon about it? I was just you guys are making some really good points. Um, they totally both said that, right? Like, I distinctly remember hearing in the audiobook, Ezra's goes, "I left my phone in the car," and then Ben thinking, "I also left mine in the car," and then yeah, again, an editor would have been fantastic for this book. It would have been great. Um, yeah. Okay, so I want to show you guys something. I let me see. Let's do here and let's do I'm trying to learn. Let's see. At an item. Oh, present. There it is. Present, share screen. And okay. So, let me see. Can you see me and the screen? Let's see here and here. Can you guys see my screen? I hope you can. So, I posted that we were doing crafty cozy mysteries for April, right? We have uh paper scissors death. We have stuck on murder, and then we had high strung. I thought that it was super super fun. These were some hobbies that I have never read about before that I thought were super super interesting. Tell me how we have done it again, guys. How have we tied again? We have tied. We have tied um on here. I don't know. I don't add to stage. Add to stage. There we go. Guys, I work in educational technology. Okay. Uh but yeah. Yeah. Oh, he thanked his editor in the acknowledgments. Aw. Yes, guys, we had a flipping tie again. A tie. A tie. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with all y'all? Giving me ties, making me like have to choose a favorite child. So what I'm gonna do is we've got stuck on murder and high strung, both at 41%, right? So what I'm going to do is I am going to find a picker wheel, and I'm going to click on the picker wheel, and I'm just going to put stuck on murder and high strung, stuck on murder and high strung. And I'm going to like duplicate. Here, let me make sure I'm showing my screen here. I am going to duplicate it multiple times so that you all can see that I'm not a cheaty McCheaterson, right? And I'm going to spin, and we will read whatever it lands on. Stuck on murder. So, very exciting. We've got Stuck on Murder. You just picked some really good options. I hope it's high strung. Sorry, Spencer. You can still read it though. I mean, all of these sound amazing. So, let's get the description of Stuck on Murder. So, this is the first book in the Decoupage mystery series by Lucy Lawrence. And somebody told me that Lucy Lawrence is a pen name for Jen McKinley. I did not know that. So, I'm very excited about that. But it says the picturesque town of Morse Point may be a small dot on the New England landscape, but the decoupage class at Vintage Papers is larger than life. With cutouts, glue, and varnish, members create eye catching projects and uncover clues to a killing. For Brenna Miller, teaching the popular decoupage class is the only way to gloss over her painful past. But it hasn't been easy making friends in a town that doesn't warm up to outsiders. And it doesn't help when the pushy mayor asks her to convince her enigmatic landlord, Nate Williams, to sell his lakefront property to land developers. But just when Brenna thinks the mayor's given up, his body is found stuffed in a trunk at Morse Point Lake. And a witness claims that Nate's truck was at the dock on the night of the murder. Now Brenna needs to help prove Nate's innocence before his fate is signed, sealed, and delivered. Bum, bum, bum. I am very, very excited. This was so much fun to like research the best, like cozy hobbies that I've never read about. Cause, like, I mean, we've all read about knitting and we've read about baking and we've read about like the different types of hobbies like that. But like this one, I was like, oh, okay, like these are different ones. Yeah, when I pull the book up on Amazon, it gives me an option to follow the author who is shown as Jen McKinley. I tend to enjoy her books, so I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I absolutely love her writing. It's hilarious, it's witty, it's like on point. So I have really high hopes for this book as well. But yeah, I'm so happy that you guys came and hung out with me for a little bit. I miss you guys so much. Expect more car random videos coming up because that's just going to be the vibe and the seasons that I'm in. I still want to be able to talk to you guys about all the things, and in order to do that, I'm just gonna have to do it in unconventional ways. If you like Substack, I do have a Substack where I have been having a blast just talking about all different kinds of things. It's completely free. I'm just going to paste it here if you guys want to go and check it out. But it'll give you more live updates on things that I can't just share on Instagram or on YouTube. But yeah, thank you for a fun book club. One of the best days of the month. You're gonna make me cry. See you next time. Love this book club. Thanks, Courtney. It was so good to see you, and you guys are the best. I love your faces so much. But I am going to finish this not so great cup of wine because I've had a hell of a day, and you guys made it exponentially better. Um, but I love you all so much, and I will see you on all of the socials during the month. And then I will see you guys again on the last Wednesday of May, which I believe is the 28th. I will be making the book club bookmark. Probably tomorrow because it's the first. So I'll be making the bookmark tomorrow and posting it on Patreon for the book. But yeah, good night, everyone. Thank you so much, Renee. I will see you all On the interwebs in the coziest, best corner of the world. But cheers. Have a good night, guys. Bye.